Change could be coming to classrooms, changing teacher tenure and teacher performance. Good evening, I'm Sheila Ramin.
And I'm Jim Reek. Thanks for joining us. Amendment 3 is one of 9 amendments on your ballot next week. KOMU 8's Meredith Miller tells us what Mid-Missouri teachers say about it.
Teachers promoted or fired based on student standardized test scores and contracts not exceeding 3 years. This could be the future for Missouri teachers if Amendment 3 passes. A petition that received enough signatures in August put the amendment on the ballot. The amendment states that schools will no longer be able to give teacher contracts that exceed 3 years, which affects teacher tenure. Currently, teachers receive tenure after 3 years of work, but this would not allow for tenure anymore. The other major change for teachers says that teachers could be promoted or fired based off a standardized test they must give their students.
Educators in the classroom would be held, would only be able to be evaluated through a 3-year cycle at the minimum or at the most, and then you also would have children who are taking multiple tests to prove the worthiness or not worthiness of that educator in that classroom.
The amendment states the test must be approved by the Missouri Department of Elementary and Secondary Education and must include objective content that can produce quantifiable data to see if the teacher is doing his or her job.
A school district that receives state or local funding must get state approval for a evaluation system that's based on objective standards which aren't defined in the amendment, using data that's not defined in the amendment, but it must be tied to student performance.
The results of this test can determine whether a teacher is hired or fired, whether their contract is modified, or if they will be placed on administrative leave if necessary.
Now this is the amendment right here, and as you can see, it is not very long. But this one-page document can mean a lot of changes for local teachers. Now, there have been a lot of supporters and opponents for this amendment, but one of the biggest controversies has been money.
The majority of the monies is coming from a local community. So the reality of additional testing and finding funding for something like that a school district wasn't budgeting for or planning for some school districts, that can be devastating.
While opponents for the amendment, including school administrative, principal, and district groups, have been very vocal lately, the supporters have pulled back. In September, the amendment's major supporter, Teach Great, and major financial supporter, Rex Sinkfield, pulled their support when they saw the amendment was not polling well.
Teach Great released and said that their polling, it showed that they were not going to get to pass it, so they weren't going to spend any more money on it.
Teach Great and Rex Sinkfield declined interviews but confirmed they no longer support the amendment. Missourians will be able to vote for Amendment 3 this November 4th. Meredith Miller, KOMU 8 News, Columbia.
KOMU would like to hear from you whether you support Amendment 3. Visit our website at komu.com to complete the amendment poll.
One Mid-Missouri city is talking about a possible smoking ban. Several